students! Welcome back to our Mathematics 8 Valenzuela Facebook Live. I am MassKara Jimenez, your live streaming teacher for today. We are now on Quarter 1, Week 6, wherein we will discuss writing, graphing, and describing linear equations in two variables. This topic is based on the most essential learning competencies that was given by the Department of Education. Let me present to you our objectives for today. At the end of the discussion, you should be able to first write the linear equation ax plus by is equal to c in the form of y equals mx plus b and vice versa. Next, graph a linear equation given any 2 points, the x and y intercepts, the slope and a point on the line, and lastly, describe the graph of a linear equation in terms of its intercepts and slope. Please be ready with your ADM or modules and turn it on page 23 in Mathematics section. Make sure that your pen and paper are with you for solving and taking note purposes. The Philippines has hundreds of festivals and most towns have their own celebrations in addition to the popular festivals we are familiar with. Lasting anywhere between a day to an entire month, festivals in our country are mostly religious and cultural celebrations that attract thousands of local and foreign tourists because of its fun and colorful vibe. Fiestas reflect Filipino religion and faith, which are the most essential part of society. Nowadays, however, a distinguishing cultural aspect that is unique to the community is preferred as a central subject for many celebrations. Amid the COVID-19 pandemic, festivals are, of course, prohibited this year due to social distance as part of the safety protocols. This applies to all types of holidays, including the well-known fiestas and religious festivals in the Philippines. People's movement has been restricted or constrained, limiting major gatherings such as festivals. Religious meetings, workshops, and conferences are now limited to 30% capacity by the government. For that reason, the Department of Tourism is urging towns and provinces to embrace new platforms for festival celebrations. Despite the lack of real crowds due to the internet, the new normal of enjoying festivals has reached more people even beyond the nation. Come along with me on virtual tour of 3 of October's most popular events. The 3 island groups of our country are represented by these celebrations: Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. These 3 covered images are things related to each festival. To learn about them, we must answer and complete each of the activities provided to reveal the events. Let us begin with our first activity, Give Me Emoji, to discover the first festival from Luzon. In this activity, you need to comment or hit the emoji that corresponds to the correct property of equality that is being illustrated in each question. Each correct answer will reveal a part of the picture. You have 5 seconds to type or key in your answers on the comment section. For question number 1, if A is equal to B, then A plus C is equal to B plus C. For example, if x minus 3 is equal to 7, then x is equal to 10. What property of equality is being illustrated? Is it like addition property, heart subtraction property, or haha reflexive property? 5 seconds to answer, go! If you answered like for addition property or APE, then you are correct. For the second question, if A is equal to B, then AC is equal to BC. For example, if x over 4 is 5, then x is equal to 20. If your answer is addition property, comment the like emoji, heart for multiplication property, and haha for symmetric property. Comment your answers Within 5 seconds, go! The property being illustrated is multiplication property or MPE. We are now on our third question. If A is equal to B and C is not equal to 0, then A over C is equal to B over C. For example, if 8x is equal to 16, then x is equal to 2. Choose like for subtraction property, heart for division property, and haha for transitive property. 5 seconds, dear students, go! That's right. The correct property is division property or DPE. Last two questions and we can finally see the picture related to the festival from Luzon. Our property is if A is equal to B, then A minus C is equal to B minus C. For example, if x plus 2 is equal to 11, then x is equal to 9. Like for reflexive property, heart for multiplication property, and haha for subtraction property. Timer starts now. If your answer is haha, good job! The correct answer is subtraction property or SPE. And for the last question, any equation can be reversed. If 3x plus y is equal to 5, then 5 is equal to 3x plus y. Choose like for substitution property, heart for transitive property, or haha for symmetric property. 5 seconds to answer, go! The correct answer is symmetric property. Good job, students! The first picture is the kulyat, a woody vine that was abundant in the Angeles city of Pampanga. Fiestang Kulyat is a month-long celebration of the twin fiestas of Angeles City, namely Lanabal and Fiestang Apu. The festival's name was coined from the city's original name, Kulyat. The festivity not only celebrates the strength of Angelenos, but also their unshakable spirit to overcome great tragedies. It encompasses two of the most celebrated festivals in the city. The Lanabal Festival for Blessed Virgin of the Holy Rosary, and the Fiesta ng Apong Mamakalulu, the Lord of the Holy Sepulchre, to honor the patron saints. The month-long festival also highlights the Tigtigan Terakan Kengdalan or dancing and merrymaking in the streets, which allow people to sing and dance in the street of Balibaco. In our first activity, we identify some of the properties of equality that can be used in simplifying equations. These properties can be also used in writing linear equations into variables, which is our first topic for today. Linear equations into variables can be written in 1. Standard form ax plus by equals c, where a, b, and c are elements of real numbers and a and b are not both 0. And also, in another standard form, slope-intercept form, y is equal to mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept, and m and b are elements of real numbers. To write linear equation in standard form ax plus by equals c, in the form of y equals mx plus b, we must use the properties of equality to let y with no coefficient be on the left side of the equation and the variable x with its coefficient and constant on the right side. For example number 1, write 3x plus 2y is equal to 6 in slope-intercept form y equals mx plus b. To write the given equation in the form of y equals mx plus b, we can use addition property to eliminate 3x in the left side by adding negative 3x to both sides. Hence, we have 2y equals 6 plus negative 3x. Arranging the right side by using commutative property, we now have 2y equals negative 3x plus 6. To eliminate the numerical coefficient of 2, for 2y, we will use division property by dividing each term of both sides of the equation by 2. Thus, the slope-intercept form of the equation is y equals negative 3 over 2x plus 3. For example number 2, let us write 4x minus 6y equals 3 into slope-intercept form. We need to eliminate 4x by adding negative 4x to both sides, and this is where we apply addition property of equality. Simplifying, we have negative 6y equals 3 plus negative 4x. Arranging the right side using commutative property, we have negative 6y equals negative 4x plus 3. Then use the division property and divide all the terms of both sides of the equation by negative 6. Therefore, the slope-intercept form of the given equation is y equals 2 over 3x minus 1 half. To write a linear equation slope-intercept form y equals mx plus b to ax plus by is equal to c, we must use the properties of equality to let x and y with the coefficient on the left side and the constant on the right side. To write y equals negative 3x plus 5 in standard form, first, we can use addition property to eliminate negative 3x from the right side by adding 3x to both sides. Simplifying, we now have y plus 3x equals 5. Since we must write the equation in the form of ax plus by is equal to c, we can use commutative property to interchange the position of y and 3x and make it 3x plus y equals 5. Thus, the standard form of the given equation is 3x plus y equals 5. For the next example, write y is equal to 5 over 2x minus 4 over 3 in standard form ax plus by equals c. As we can see, there are denominators in the right side. To eliminate them, we must use multiplication property. We are going to multiply both sides of the equation by the LCM or least common multiple of 2 and 3, which is 6. Thus, we now have 6y is equal to 15x minus 8. To eliminate 15x from the right side, we will use addition property by adding negative 15x in both sides. Hence, we have 6y minus 15x is equal to negative 8. Arranging the terms by using commutative property, we have negative 15x plus 6y is equal to negative 8. For uniformity, let us make the numerical coefficient a, b positive, by multiplying both sides by negative 1 using multiplication property. We can also divide both sides by negative 1 using division property. And we will obtain the same equation, 15x minus 6y is equal to 8. We are done uncovering the first picture. Let us now work our way to the festival from Visayas. We must complete our second activity, fact or faith, to discover the second image. Determine whether the given statement is true or false. Comment fact if it's true and faith if it's false. Each correct answer will expose the hidden picture. You have 5 seconds to type in your answers on the comment section. Are you ready? Let's go! For the first statement, the rectangular coordinate system or Cartesian plane is named after the French mathematician and philosopher René Descartes. Is it fact or faith? You have 5 seconds. Go. The statement is a fact. The rectangular coordinate system we commonly use is called the Cartesian plane, that was named after the French mathematician René Descartes, who developed it in the 17th century. Statement number 2, the x-axis is the vertical number line of a two-dimensional Cartesian coordinate system. Is it fact or fake? Timer starts now. If you answered fake, then you are right. The x-axis is the horizontal number line, while the y-axis is the vertical number line. Next statement is, the rectangular coordinate system was divided by the two axes into 4 quadrants. Is it fact or fake? 5 seconds, go. That's right. This is a true statement. These quadrants are numbered from 1 to 4, starting from the upper right, moving counterclockwise. For the fourth statement, the abscissa is the intersection of the x and y axes. Is it fact or fake? Comment your answer within 5 seconds. Go. Yes, the statement is a fake. The origin is the point at which the two axes intersect. It is at 0 on the x-axis and 0 on the y-axis. Hence, its ordered pair is written as 0, 0. And for the last statement, determine whether it is fact or fake. The slope of a line can be found by calculating run over rise. 5 seconds, go. The correct answer is fake. Slope is a measure of the steepness of a line. It can be found by calculating rise over run or the change in the y over the change in the x. And the symbol for slope is small letter m. With your knowledge from the previous lesson, rectangular coordinate system, the second picture is finally revealed. Our second festival from Visayas is the MassKara Festival of Bacolod City from the province of Negros Occidental. This is one of the largest festivals in the Philippines. Coinciding with the city's Charter Day celebration, the event features carnivals, fairs, and a Mardi Gras style by costume and masked street dancer. This is also celebration of the founding anniversary of Bacolod City. The MassKara Festival will let you see the city at its liveliest. MassKara is derived from the words mass, meaning many, and kara, meaning faces, thus calling it the Festival of Many Faces. Known as the City of Smiles, Bacolod parades many smiling masks worn by the locals during this festival in the Philippines. Many tourists visit Bacolod in October to witness this grand Filipino cultural festival. In our previous activity, we recall the parts and terms in rectangular coordinate system, also known as Cartesian plane. It can be used in plotting points of certain locations. For example, this is the location of Angeles City, while here is the location of Bacolod City. Using the illustration provided, the coordinates of the location of Angeles City are -1, 3, and the coordinates of the location of Bacolod City are 2, -3. By drawing a point in each location and connecting them, we can draw a straight line. The graph of linear equation in two variables is a straight line. If we are given two specific points, we can easily illustrate the graph of a certain equation. But how can we graph if we are given linear equations? There are 3 ways on how to graph linear equations in two variables. The first one is to graph the line using 2 points. For step number 1, assign any 2 values for x. Step number 2, solve for the values of y by substituting the assigned values of x in the equation. Step number 3, plot the 2 points points or the coordinates that satisfy the equation on the Cartesian plane. Step number 4, connect the 2 points to form a straight line. Let us start by graphing the linear equation 2x minus y equals 4 using 2 points. For step 1, assign any two values for x. For this example, we will use 1 and negative 1. Next step is to solve for the values of y by substituting the assigned values of x in the equation. If x is equal to 1, then we have 2 times 1 minus y equals 4. Simplifying, it will become 2 minus y is equal to 4. To eliminate 2 in the left side, we use the APE by adding negative 2 in both sides. Thus, we have negative y is equal to 2. To make negative y be positive, we can use the MPE by multiplying both sides by negative 1. Therefore, the value of y is negative 2. Our first point has coordinates of 1, negative 2. For the second value of x, which is negative 1, by substitution, we will have 2 times negative 1 minus y equals 4. Simplifying, it will become negative 2 minus y equals 4. Using APE, we can eliminate negative 2 in the left side by adding the positive 2 in both sides. Hence, we will obtain negative y is equal to 6. Again, to make negative y be positive, use MPE and multiply both sides by negative 1. Therefore, the value of y is negative 6. The coordinates of the second point are negative 1, negative 6. For step number 3, plot the 2 points or the coordinates that satisfy the equation on the Cartesian plane. Let us plot the 2 points, 1, negative 2, and negative 1, 6. For step number 4, connect the 2 points to form a straight line. Drawing a straight line using the 2 points, we now have the graph of the equation, and we should name or label the line using the given equation 2x minus y is equal to 4. For example number 2, graph the linear equation y is equal to negative 2x plus 1 using 2 points. For step 1, assign any two values for x. For this example, we will use 1 and negative 2. Next step is to solve for values of y by substituting the assigned values of x in the equation. If x is equal to 1, then we have y is equal to negative 2 times 1 plus 1. Simplifying, it will become y is equal to negative 2 plus 1. Simplifying it further, the value of y is negative 1. Our first point has coordinates of 1, negative 1. For the second value of x, which is negative 2, by substitution, we will have y is equal to negative 2 times negative 2 plus 1. Simplifying, it will become y is equal to 4 plus 1. Combining 4 and 1, the value of y is 5. The coordinates of the second point are negative 2 and 5. For step number 3, plot the 2 points that satisfy the equation on the Cartesian plane. Let us plot the 2 points, 1, negative 1, and negative 2, 5. For step number 4, connect the 2 points to form a straight line. Drawing a straight line using the 2 points, we now have the graph of the equation, and we should name again or label the line using the given equation y is equal to negative 2x plus 1. The second way is to graph linear equations in two variables using x and y intercepts. For x-intercept, it is the abscissa of a point a, 0 where the line intersects the x-axis, while y-intercept is the ordinate of a point 0, b where the line intersects the y-axis. The steps in graphing linear equation in two variables given its x-intercept and y-intercept are, step number 1, solve for x-intercept by letting y is equal to 0. Step number 2, solve for y-intercept by letting x is equal to 0. Step number 3, plot the 2 points on the Cartesian plane. And lastly, connect the 2 points to form a straight line. Let us graph the linear equation 2x minus y equals 4 using its x and y intercepts. Step number 1 is to solve for x-intercept by letting y is equal to 0. By substitution, we have 2x minus 0 equals 4. Simplifying, it will become 2x equals 4. To eliminate numerical coefficient 2 of 2x, we can use DPE with dividing each term by 2. So the value of x is 2, hence the x-intercept or the first point is 2, 0. For step number 2, solve for y-intercept by letting x equal 0. By substitution, we have 2 times 0 minus y equals 4. Simplifying, it will become negative y equals 4. To make negative y positive, we can divide both sides by negative 1 using DPE. So, the value of y is equal to negative 4. Hence, the y-intercept is negative 4 and our second point is 0, negative 4. For step number 3, let us plot the 2 points on the Cartesian plane. Let us plot the first point 2, 0 and the second point 0, negative 4. For the last step, connect the 2 points to form a straight line. Drawing a straight line using the 2 points, we now have the graph of the equation 2x minus y equals 4. For our second example, graph the linear equation y is equal to negative 2x plus 1 using x and y intercepts. For step number 1, solve for x-intercept by letting y is equal to 0. So by substitution, we have 0 is equal to negative 2x plus 1. Interchanging the sides by using symmetric property will give us negative 2x plus 1 is equal to 0. And to eliminate 1 from the left side, we can use addition property by adding negative 1 to both sides. Simplifying, we have negative 2x is equal to negative 1. To eliminate numerical coefficient of negative 2x, we will divide both sides by negative 2 using division property. So, the value of x is 1/2 and the x-intercept is 1/2, 0. Step number 2 is to solve the y-intercept by letting x is equal to 0. So by substitution, we will have y is equal to negative 2 times 0 plus 1. Simplifying, we will obtain y is equal to 0 plus 1. And simplifying it further, y is equal to 1. So, the y-intercept is 0, 1. Next step is to plot the 2 points on the Cartesian plane. So let us plot the first point, 1/2, 0. And the second point, 0, 1. For the final step, connect the 2 points to form a straight line. So drawing a straight line using the 2 points, we now have the graph of the equation. And we should name or label the line using the given equation y equals negative 2x plus 1. We can also graph linear equations in 2 variables given its slope and a point on the line. Slope of a line is the rate of change or how slowly or fast a line changes in y-axis over the x-axis. It refers to the steepness or how inclined or declined a line is. It is derived from the Latin word slupan for slip. And here are the steps that we can follow. Step number 1 is to write the equation in the slope-intercept form y equals mx plus b. Step number 2, identify the slope m and the y-intercept b to to have a point 0, B. Step number 3, plot the point or the y-intercept on the Cartesian plane. And step number 4, from point 0b, plot another point using the slope m. Slope m is equal to rise over run, or the ratio of change in y and change in x. And lastly, connect the points to form a straight line. Let us graph the linear equation 2x minus y is equal to 4 using the slope and a point on the line. For step number 1, write the equation in the slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. To eliminate 2x from the left side, we will add negative 2x in both sides using the APE. Simplifying, we will have negative y is equal to 4 minus 2x. Arranging the terms in the right side using the commutative property, it will become negative y is equal to negative 2x plus 4. To make negative y positive, we can use multiplication property by multiplying both sides by negative 1. Thus, the slope-intercept form of the given equation is y equals 2x minus 4. For step number 2, identify the slope m and the y-intercept p to have a point 0, b. From y is equal to 2x minus 4, we can see that the value of m is 2 or 2 over 1. It means 2 units upward over 1 unit to the right. And the y-intercept b is negative 4, hence we have our point 0, negative 4. Step number 3 is to plot the y-intercept on the Cartesian plane. Let us plot 0, negative 4. Step number 4, from point 0, negative 4, plot another point using the slope m. We will use the slope 2 to find the second point. Step number 4, from point 0, negative 4, plot another point using the slope m. We will use the slope 2 to find the second point. From our first point, we are going to move 2 units upward, then 1 unit to the right. Draw the point for the second point and label its coordinates as 1, negative 2. And the last step is connecting the points to form a straight line. And now we have the graph of 2x minus y equals 4. And for our next example, let us graph the linear equation y is equal to negative 2x plus 1 using the slope and a point on the line. Step number 1, write the equation in the slope-intercept form y equals mx plus b. As we can see, our given equation is already in the form of y equals mx plus b or slope-intercept form. We can now proceed to step number 2, which is identifying the slope m and the y-intercept b to have a point 0, b. From y equals to negative 2x plus 1, we can see that the value of m is equal to negative 2 or negative 2 over 1. It means 2 units downward over 1 unit to the right. And the y-intercept b is 1, hence we have our point 0, 1. For step number 3, plot the y-intercept on the Cartesian plane. So let us plot 0, 1. For step number 4, from point 0, 1, plot another point using the slope m. We will use the slope negative 2 to find the second point. From our first point, we are going to move 2 units downward, then 1 unit to the right. Draw the point for the second point and label its coordinates as 1, negative 1. Last step is connecting the 2 points to form a straight line. Now we have the graph of y equals negative 2x plus 1. Finally, the Mindanao celebration, our third and last activity, will help us to unveil the image related to the festival entitled Unscramble the Jumble. You need to arrange the jumbled letters to determine the missing word for each statement. You have 5 seconds to type in your answers on the comment section. For the first statement, a line with a blank slope moves upward on the graph from left to right. Your timer starts now. And the missing word is positive. Next statement, a line with negative slope is blank if it goes down from left to right. What do you think is the missing word? 5 seconds, go. If you type the word decreasing, then you are right. Going to our third statement, if a line has a slope equal to 0, then the graph of its line is blank. You have 5 seconds to answer, go. That's right. The missing word is horizontal. For statement number 4, if the x-coordinate never changes no matter what the y-coordinate is, then the line has blank slope. 5 seconds, go. And the correct answer is undefined. And for the last statement, the blank of a line are the points where the line crosses the horizontal and vertical axis. Timer starts now. And the missing word is intercepts. That is great. This picture is finally revealed. The Binta is related to our last event from Mindanao, the Zamboanga Hermosa Festival. It is also known as Fiesta Pilar, a month-long festival of Zamboanga City held every October. The festival is celebrated in honor of the miraculous image of Our Lady of the Pilar at the legendary Fort Pilar. The festival features street dancing, exhibits trade fairs, regatta, Mascota de Zamboanga. Features numerous activities such as the street dance competition, where different schools in the city are fighting for the title. From the street to the main event, which everyone will show their best talent. Major activities include the Wow Zamboangas showing the different tastes, talents, and ideas of each barangay. Cosechas de Zamboanga, or the Agri-Trade Fair, sports events, musical concerts, agricultural trade fairs, fashion show, Chabacano Song Festival, Miss Zamboanga, and one of the most awaited events in the festivities, Regatta de Zamboanga, where the famous Vintas of Zamboanga are racing to win the title. The Vintas are also used in regattas. They are traditional boats originating from the southern island called Mindanao in the Philippines. The Bajau and Moros of Sulu and Zamboanga created these boats. They are also called lepa-lepa or sakayan, were used since ancient times to transport people and goods to and from different islands. The eye-catching and vibrant sails makes it unique among other Philippine outriggers. The colors and patterns used associate closely with a particular family or clan and projects its identity in a culturally diverse Mindanao. The Vinta is rigged with either log or sprit sails, to each his own preference on different needs and sailing conditions. What do you notice about the design of the sail of this Vinta? That's right. The design has different kinds of line. We have the vertical line, a line that goes upward, a horizontal line, and a line that goes downward. These lines are illustrating the different kinds of slope. It is important that we recall the types of line according to their slope, which will be used in describing linear equations in two variables. According to what we have learned from the previous lesson, if the value of slope is positive, the y value increases as the x value increases. Thus, the trend of the line is increasing. If the slope of a line is less than 0, it means the y value decreases as the x value decreases. Hence, the trend of the line is decreasing. If the y value is constant as x value increases, it means the slope is equal to 0. The graph of the equation is horizontal line. If the y value increases as the x value is constant, the slope is undefined. Therefore, the graph of the equation is vertical line. How are we going to describe linear equation in two variables in terms of its intercepts and slope? Step number 1, find the intercepts of the line to have the points intersect the x-axis and y-axis. Step number 2, find the slope of the line. And step number 3, describe the graph in terms of its intercepts and slope. Let us describe the graph of x plus 2y is equal to 6 in terms of its intercepts and slope. For the first step, find the intercepts of the line to have the points intersect the x-axis and y-axis. For the x-intercept, let y is equal to 0. So by substitution, we will have x plus 2 times 0 is equal to 6. Simplifying, the value of x is equal to 6. Hence, the x-intercept is 6, 0. For y-intercept, let x is equal to 0. So by substitution, we have 0 plus 2y is equal to 6. Simplifying, we will obtain 2y is equal to 6. To eliminate the numerical coefficient 2 of 2y, we can divide both sides by 2 using the division property. Hence, the value of y is equal to 3. Therefore, the y-intercept is 0, 3. For step number 2, let us find the slope of a line. In the previous lesson, we have learned that when the given equation is in the standard form ax plus by equals c, we can determine the value of slope by using the formula m is equal to negative a over b, where a is the numerical coefficient of the term with variable x, while b is the numerical coefficient of the term with variable y. For our equation, a is equal to 1 and the value of b is equal to 2. By substitution, we have m is equal to negative 1 over 2. Hence, the value of slope is negative 1/2. We can now describe the graph of a line in terms of its intercept and slope. The graph of x plus 2y is equal to 6 intersects the x-axis at 6, 0 and the y-axis at 0, 3. Since the slope is negative 1/2, this means that for every 1 unit downward of any point on the line, it runs 2 units to the right. Thus, when the slope is negative, the value of y decreases as the value of x increases. Hence, the trend of the line is decreasing. Although there are festivals all year in the Philippines, we can help but miss and reminisce about the ones we're meant to be enjoying right now because October is such an iconic month of festivals. The pandemic has placed a wrench in the festive season. This, however, does not imply that we should stop celebrating. We just need to be cautious and avoid ways of enjoyment that we know are counterproductive for making healthy choices. It is critical to keep in mind that your health comes first. Hopefully, this pandemic will be ended soon, allowing us to travel, explore, and enjoy our country's great and spectacular festivals, such as the ones we discovered today. For now, we can use this time to research more and plan our next trips, including these many festivals and fiestas as part of our itinerary. Let us sum up today's lesson about writing, graphing, and describing linear equations in two variables. To write linear equation in standard form, ax plus by equals c, in the form of y equals mx plus b, we must use the properties of equality to let y with no coefficient be on the left side of the equation and the variable x with its coefficient and constant on the right side. To write a linear equation in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b to ax plus by equals c, we must use the properties of the equality to let x and y with a coefficient on the left side and the constant on the right side. And there are three ways in graphing linear equations in two variables. First is by using 2 points. Step 1, assign any two values for x. Step 2, solve for the values of y by substituting the assigned values of x in the equation. Step 3, plot the 2 points or coordinates that satisfy the equation on the Cartesian plane. Step 4, connect the 2 points to form a straight line. Next is to graph the equation given the x and y intercepts. Step 1, solve for x-intercept by letting y equal to 0 to have a point a, 0. Step 2, solve for y-intercept by letting x is equal to 0 to have a point 0, b. Step number 3, plot the 2 points on the Cartesian plane. And lastly, connect the 2 points to form a straight line. And to graph the equation using its slope and a point on the line, step 1 is to write the equation in the slope-intercept form y equals mx plus b. Step number 2, identify the slope m and the y-intercept p to have a point 0, b. Step number 3, plot the y-intercept on the Cartesian plane. Step 4, from point 0, b or the y-intercept, plot another point using the slope m. And step number 5, connect the 2 points to form a straight line. In describing the graph of linear equation in two variables, we need to, step number 1, find the intercepts of the line to have the points intersect the x-axis and y-axis. Step number 2, find the slope of the line. Then, step number 3, describe the graph in terms of its intercepts and slope. We will now proceed in the question and answer. From a random viewer, can we use the table of values in graphing linear equations in two variables? Yes, we can use the table of values in graphing linear equations in two variables. We will still obtain the same graph if we use more than 2 points. For your home learning task on your ADM mathematics section, answer what's more, try these A, B, and C on page 26. If you have more questions and clarifications that needed to be answered, you may ask your respective math teachers during your math time. I hope you gained some knowledge from our discussion on writing, graphing, and describing linear equations in two variables. Thank you for tuning in to Valenzuela Facebook Live today. Have a wonderful day, stay safe, and God bless.